Right then, so today we've got Bart the Genius, aired January 14th, 1990, written by John Vita, director David Silverman. Bart's smart, or is he?
Ooh.
No, the end.
And stuff happens in between.
Stuff happens. Well, this is one of the ones where there is no B-plot, really.
No, there isn't. No, not at all.
No. But
No.
yeah, it's a much, much stronger episode of The Simpsons than the first one.
Simpsons roasting on an open fire.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Forgettable, the episode.
Yeah.
No, it's not forgettable, but this one much, much stronger.
There's signs of
the
greatness.
I think this has we treat this as the real pilot.
Yeah, this is it's a real episode one. Season one, really.
Written by a writer who's probably more in tune with the sensibilities. Because he was also, I was looking on the credits, it said he was story editor.
Okay.
So I imagine on the first series he had a lot to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's written with someone with more stake in it than whatever her name was last time. Mimi
Pond, damn it, I remember her
Mimi
name.
Pond. So the writer's probably more in touch with it. It's much better structured. It has one story going through
There's a
rather than
beginning, a middle, and
jumping.
an end.
Yeah, I was actually shocked by just how much it stayed on the one plot line.
Yeah, but it pretty much sticks to it entirely.
Yeah, it's Bart cheats his test, because it's proper Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 storytelling, isn't it? Act 1 he cheats, Act 2 consequences. Well, Act 2 he gets into the habit of being at the new progressive school. Act 3 he redeems himself by saying he did get in there by cheating. The end.
And that's it. Yeah, it's a
simple, well-told story.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's got some pretty good jokes.
Yeah.
I think a lot of
it's not the funniest episode.
No. I think all the stuff with we've talked about like philosophy and psychoanalysis. We talk about id at the start of the episode.
There's a lot of smart humour.
Yeah, it shows the writers are kind of a bit, sort of educated.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I quite appreciated about it, and Homer's response to it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just saying that Homer in these early episodes, he's definitely more hard. He's more harsher on the kids.
He's a mean man.
He's a mean man. He's a mean old conservative guy.
Yeah.
With old school values and he's proud of Bart, the fact that he's
smart.
He's smart. He's kind of, oh god, all this time.
Yeah.
Now at the end of the fact that he reverts back to basically child abuse.
Yeah.
At the end is a bit, oh god.
Yeah.
But no, I thought overall it was a strong episode.
Yes, so did I.
Yeah.
The end.
The end. We could finish the video there. Yeah. It's a recommended one, but it's forgettable.
Yeah.
It's the kind of episode that I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But you'll probably never come back to it.
What I like to think of these is you're flicking through channels, you'd leave it on, but you wouldn't go out of your way to watch it.
No.
So you wouldn't stay in to watch it.
Bart the Genius is on. That's my favourite episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rush home and watch it right now. Yeah, no, it's not that level at all.
No.
The first appearance of Martin Prince.
Yes, and he stays pretty much consistent throughout the whole series.
Yeah. He's a bit more like upfront with Barney. He's a bit like
he's more of a dick.
He's more of a dick, but he's a bit like I'm sorry, I hope I want you to hold some grudge against me. Yeah. I was only concerned about the school. He's definitely not the Nancy boy he is a bit later on. The Nancy boy.
Nancy boy. No, I mean the school is already. I mean you've already got Milhouse.
Yes.
You haven't got a Nelson yet.
No, Nelson.
Spoilers for anyone who doesn't know who that is.
Yeah.
Nelson Muntz.
Nelson, I think, is in a few episodes' time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's Edna Krabappel.
Edna Krabappel.
The late, great... what's the actress called? I feel like an offensive dick now.
I know, you dick.
What's she called?
She passed away and...
What's she called?
That was a sad... She's really, really good, even in these first episodes.
Yeah, please tell us her name.
Yeah, we'll put it on the next one. I'm sure we'll be able to find out.
We'll find out, yeah.
But yeah, she was really, really good.
Yeah, she a strong vocal performance. A very well-defined character. I've always liked Edna. I think she has a really good character.
Yeah,
definitely one of my favourites of the kind of the secondary suppository. I'm on the suppository character. She's my favourite.
But yeah, so there's probably not a lot to say about this episode.
No, but no.
So I was going to say we should talk, because this is a good example of it, about how people talk about the first series being more realistic.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like the common conception about the first series.
And the second one as well.
And the second one, even though I still think the second one moves slightly further into surrealism.
Yeah.
You'll exploit later. Like Lynch films.
Like Lynchian, yeah.
But the common conception of first series is that it's all like standard sitcom-y tropes, and some people think the first series is the best. Yeah, I've heard that there are some people who think it goes downhill after the first one.
Really?
Yeah, they think that the first one is like a peak of television, and then after that it goes increasingly too weird.
Well,
that's not something we hold.
I do not agree with that opinion whatsoever.
No.
But like I can see where people are coming from.
Yeah.
Especially in those first two seasons, you know, it is more about like our first episode. You know, Homer doesn't get his bonus.
Yeah.
The consequences of that. Bart's not smart, but you know, and his family dealing with that.
Yeah.
And that's some of it. Certainly develops later on.
Yeah.
As those first, so definitely this first season. Or like later on, there's an episode where Homer borderline nearly cheats on Marge.
Oh yeah.
It happens a few times throughout the series, though. So
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, one of the best. Well, no, it's not in the top like 30 but the great one is that one with Michelle Pfeiffer in.
Oh, what's that character called?
I can't. But you know.
Lurleen.
No,
that's the country singer.
Yeah, she works with Homer. And then she tempts him.
Mindy.
It's a good episode. That's a great episode.
Yeah, I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really sweet. I mean, the one that's coming up isn't anywhere near as good as that.
No, but
it's. Yeah, I mean, it's weird watching the first series again because the characters feel more realistic and well-defined. Well, not well-defined at all, but they feel like
Bart
a real family.
is well-defined.
Bart and Marge, because Marge is pretty much the same character throughout, just a concerned
Pretty
mom.
much, yeah. Lisa's not been defined yet.
No, she hasn't had any kind of plot line at all.
No, they're not quite established who Lisa is quite yet. You know, she's. I guess because in those early seasons, Bart is quite central.
Yeah.
They really did make Bart the central character. He's one that was advertised a lot. And,
yeah, Bart is the breakout character.
No, see, I would say Homer's the breakout character.
No,
because they kind of concentrated on Bart as being the centre of it. They thought he'd be the centre of it all, and then Homer really comes into his own later, and he becomes.
I think later Homer does, but like there were that song "Do the Bartman" and stuff, and he was he was the icon, I think.
Yeah, he was the icon. But
well, I think it depends because I think the early ones, like kids watched them more.
Yeah.
Like because it had that, you know, it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
That going against.
And Bart's got a bit of edge. You know,
but Bart's the kind of character. If you were 10, you would associate with him. But when you get older, you probably associate more with Homer.
Yeah.
Or in the early
To be honest, I was related more to Lisa.
You would.
I was related more to Lisa. That's what the writers of the show said as well.
Yeah.
They said Bart was the kind of kid they would like to have been, but Lisa's more of a kid that they related to, that they were. I relate more to Lisa. I've been Bart. I was never as cool as Bart.
No, I relate to Barney more.
Barney?
Yeah.
I know.
Well, I've essentially grown into Barney.
All those drunken years wasted.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's interesting this episode. It's borderline realistic.
Well, there's nothing in here that couldn't actually be done apart from the chemistry explosion, which would have been a cutaway and a sound effect. It couldn't have been done on it could have been done on a standard sitcom like Malcolm in the Middle or something.
Yeah. But he was like Malcolm in the Middle, was kind of borderline surrealist, I think, as well, even at times.
I mean, alright, live action then.
Yeah,
instead
live
of sitcom.
yeah,
but it could have been. There's nothing in this that couldn't have been associated with a cartoon except for that chemistry explosion.
I think the school might have raised an eyebrow if Bart was established to be done, and suddenly he was like, "Oh, smart! Oh, that can't be right."
Skinner
does say we should retest him, but yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I think you also get to see in this episode actually a lot of the like satire, because it's a satire of them progressive schools, isn't it?
Yeah. They get to take a piss out of America.
Yeah, that's what brings this into being a good episode. More than
I would
the
say
fact that
so,
it's got the edge of being about. I mean, it's pretty on point, really, because those are big now. But I don't know how big they were in the early. They
were a
90s.
relatively new idea, really. Yeah. Like the whole idea of nurturing a child and letting him grow in his own space at his own time, and because it kind of talks a little bit about I guess, mental health issues, like attention deficit disorder.
Yeah.
Like that's basically what the psychiatrist is saying. Bart has, he's really smart, but he can't concentrate in class. And, basically saying Bart's got ADHD. Yeah. Which it's obviously more kind of dealt with now. People understand it more now, but I assume back in the late 80s, early 90s, maybe wasn't as quite as well as understood. So
no.
I can appreciate if they're trying to bring that issue up.
Yeah, and it's good the way. I mean, what's good is the fact that they're obviously smart people, the people that write it.
Yeah.
But you can tell that they take more lenience towards like Homer and Bart and stuff than the smart kids in the school who are portrayed more negatively. So you can see it's good how you can already see the satire that would come into it later.
Yeah, definitely.
And a bit of the edge that would differentiate it from other shows that would come in its wake without having actually. I'm saying it's still going, obviously, but there's loads of rip-off ones. I mean, you can see a bit of the heart in this as well,
definitely,
like with the Homer and Bart storyline.
And so my other thing is at the end when it does kind of go back to it, it's back to the status quo now.
Yeah,
but
every episode does that.
Yeah, they have to do that.
Not every sitcom does, but The Simpsons does. It's an elastic premise, isn't it? Something happens and it goes back to the beginning.
Well, it's like how Bart and Lisa are constantly 8 and 10 forever, and then Maggie's always a baby. And it's one of the things that like my great uncle's always a bit like. So I don't get The Simpsons. The baby's been a baby for 20 years now. he just can't get past that.
You just have to roll with it, though.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I found that quite funny.
Yeah.
So for me, a highlight, I really enjoyed Bart's Dream.
Bart's Dream?
No, not Bart's Dream, Daydream, where he's in class.
Yeah.
And Nickel Apple set the test.
Yeah.
And she's like, stop talking out loud, visualise it.
Oh, yeah, that's
I really enjoyed that. That's a really good piece of animation and kind of surrealist.
Well, you can see on the imagination that will come into it later.
Yeah, definitely. I really enjoyed that. I thought, especially compared to the first season where it's all kind of a bit awkward.
Yeah.
I think this one was...
Well, actually, that is a way that they use in the animated form. They couldn't do it in a standard thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because you look at that first episode and you think, oh, this could be done in live action, but this one definitely, this is using
the
form a bit more. I'll tell you what was weird. The animation, at times,
was great.
It was great, and the characters would talk really animatedly and talk like this.
Yeah, that's a good impression of that professor. Sometimes.
Yeah,
it's like,
oh well, Bart is this, and he's got that, and he's going to go to school, and and
yeah.
other times they'll just be static and like what a normal first season animation should look like.
Yeah,
but I think that it's quite like that a lot throughout that first season.
Yeah.
So in terms of a rating, what would you give Bart the Genius?
I think a 6.
I think a 6 is fair. Yeah,
5 is average, and I think it did just enough to be above average.
Yeah, it's above average.
I did like the ending. I like the way that it sets you up to think that Homer's just going to be like, it's okay,
it's okay, son.
Because, I mean, obviously now we know that The Simpsons would subvert that. But if this was only the first episode you'd seen, after someone had recommended the Christmas special for some reason.
For some reason, yeah. Yeah, no, that's true actually, yeah. Like if you watch it for the first time, you'd think, like in a normal family sitcom, this is the part where the father would make up with the son. But he doesn't, it's subvert your expectations.
Well, the ending for that, it'd be like, they'd be playing baseball outside and he'd be like, I love you, Bart. And they'd go, oh.
Yeah, and it would have ended there. The studio audience would have applauded. Yeah, like if it was the Waltons.
The Waltons.
That's it. Well, I think we're all in the squares and stuff. Oh. Yeah. Good night, Ma. Good night, Pa. Good night, Jim boy. Jim boy.
I think as well, we're talking about rating. I think looking back, it's a 6. But if this was the first one you'd seen, I think it's quite subversive in a way. So I think 7 if you're watching it for the first time, and then a 6
now.
Looking back where you know the tricks.
Yeah, you can kind of catch them out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, solid
I agree.
Yeah,
solid
an early highlight.
Yes, not one I'm going to rush back to rewatch.
No. Will the series go up or down? Only watching can tell.
Exactly.
No.